Yeah, so we'll be making my father's venison chili today. It's prize winning. My father spent almost a decade in Texas, and he brought his chili making skills back with him to the north where I'm from. But it's a little bit different than what a lot of people think of as chili. It's using big chunks of venison instead of like a ground meat, and not a lot of tomatoes, mostly chilies and spices, and in ours we use some beans to sort of make something more akin to a beef stew, but more south of the border style. It's delicious and just makes a great meal. So and it's very easy to make, which is the best part. To start out, we're going to need to brown off the venison to really develop the flavors, get some caramelization going. You're going to want to use a nice heavy-bottomed pot. We're not actually even going to cook it in boil it in this, but we'll be browning it in here. Even a cast iron skillet would be nice for this to really develop the flavor. And you want to be careful not to add too much of this to the pot at a time, because the temperature will go down and it'll start to steam rather than saute. And what we really want is to keep the temperature hot so it'll brown properly. When it's nicely browned up, I'm just going to take it and pour it into another pan and just add another batch. And you'll just do this over and over until you get it all browned up, and then we'll add more ingredients after that. So when you've browned off all the meat, you take the last bit of it out, and here in the bottom of the pan is flavor. This is what's going to make the chili delicious. So you want to make sure to use this pan, and we're going to add the onions and the garlic to it at a low heat, so it really sucks up that flavor. Put in the onions, the garlic. And you want to stir it a lot at the beginning to make sure that it doesn't burn. And turn the temperature down low. And what you're looking for is to get the onions so they're translucent. It's good to be patient with this. You really don't want to burn it. So now that the onions are all cooked, we're going to transfer it into a larger pot. We cooked it in this one because it had we browned everything in this one because it had a nice heavy bottom. But we're going to transfer it into something that's a little bit bigger that can hold the whole volume, and we're going to simmer it for a few hours. So we'll just transfer all that in, and then we'll add the venison. And then we will add our 3 cans of diced tomatoes. You want 3 28-ounce cans. I don't have any brand that I prefer, but don't be afraid of using canned tomatoes. Like 11 months out of the year, they're far superior to anything you can buy at the grocery store. They're cheaper, and and for this application, you're going to be cooking it, no one will know the difference. So, and then we're going to add our cumin, basil in there, and our chili powder. And then we have our salt, our 4 bay leaves. You can use dried. Fresh is really nice as well. A lot of people use bay as a decorative plant, and it's fun to find somebody in your neighborhood with one, with which you can poach some leaves. When they're fresh, they're really aromatic. They are just a whole nother plant than the dried ones, but they're really nice to have around. The jalapenos, if you're a fan of real spice, you can add serranos or even probably some habaneros, but Yeah, but for now, for the restaurant, we'll just use jalapenos. And finally, the ground clove and cinnamon put in there. And a couple cups of water. Well, it's been 3 hours, and our chili has been simmering way up here, and it looks just about done. And the best way to tell if it's done is just to try a piece of the venison, and if it's tender, it'll be about ready to add the last 2 ingredients. It's nice and tender, and it's really flavorful. So we have the peppers, which we'll stir in. And the final ingredient is pinto beans, which we make here at the restaurant in vast quantities. But what I would do is use 1 pound of dried beans, cook them however you like to cook them, and then just add them all in. And that's about it. Just heat it up a little bit more to get it hot. And I like to add the peppers and not cook them anymore so that they're crispy and a nice contrast to the well-stewed meat. And serve with a big slice of cornbread, and you got yourself a delicious dinner.